Yeah, it looks great.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, man.
Okay, here we go. So Confidence 101 for auditions, performances, and more by yours truly, Karl Arrieta, aka Karl Drum Tech. And just a little something about like the aka Karl Drum Tech that I that I kind of look back on and reflect on is that before I was Karl Drum Tech, I literally in the very beginning always introduced myself as, hey, this is Karl, aka Karl Drum Tech. You know, I wasn't known as Karl Drum Tech, and just somehow like, you know, I just wanted to manifest who I wanted to be, like the persona I wanted. And now pretty much, yeah, everybody knows me as Karl Drum Tech. But it's interesting to note that when I first started, before, you know, Karl Drum Tech got big, it's like I was already saying also known as Karl Drum Tech, as if I was already a big persona. So that kind of gives you a feel for how this session is going to go and how I'm presenting this keynote. So the first thing I want to mention is that nobody is born with confidence. It is a skill, just like anything else, just like drumming is a skill, you know, cooking is a skill, skateboarding is a skill. It's a skill that you develop. You're not born with it. It's something that is developed over time. Let me see. So next, oh, oops, let's go back. All right. Before implementing any of the following strategies, you can always just fake it till you make it. That's my #1 strategy. If you don't have this, you know, if you don't have the confidence yet, it's always best to fake it until you make it. So the benefits of faking your confidence is #1, you get more experience. So for example, if I am, you know, I have a beginning like media corporation, I'm in the process of getting more clients. However, I don't have that many clients yet. I don't have much experience yet. But if somebody says, hey, Karl, can you do a real estate video? I've never done a real estate video before, but I'm going to say yes. And I'm going to say it confidently because I'm just going to fake it. And I'm just going to go in there. I'm going to do my best and pretend like, you know, I've done it before. I mean, you know, you always want to be upfront as much as possible and say, you know, I don't have that much experience, you know, if they do ask, but I'm going to go in there and say, you know, I'm going to work my hardest and I'm going to create the best product I possibly can. And that is, you know, how you want to approach every opportunity. You don't want to say, well, I'm not ready yet, or, you know, just, you know, I don't have the skills yet, I don't have the experience. No, you just fake it. You just go for it. And the benefit of that is you learn more from doing, and you can learn from your mistakes. So as you're doing it for the first time, when you've said yes to that client, for example, and like you're just learning as you go, like you're learning, you know, the craft, you're learning, you know, the ins and outs, you learn, you know, you make mistakes and then you go, I can do that better. And then the next time on the next client, you're going to do better because you've learned from doing and you've learned from the mistakes you've made. Going back to the initial thought that you manifest what you eventually want to become. I manifested that I wanted to become also known as Karl Drum Tech. So, you know, basically I, you know, gave my, the way you, one way to look at it is that, you know, confidence has a certain physiology, right? Like your chest is puffed up, your head is up, you speak with a certain kind of tonality. Even if you don't have the confidence to back that up, still get your chest up, get your, you know, get your head up. And this is why, like, it's really important in marching band that we have these, you know, these postures and, you know, like these definitions of like how we want to look, how you want to act, because, you know, it changes your physiology. Like if you are acting like you're confident, your brain starts to follow. It thinks, why am I acting confident right now? Well, I guess I'm confident. Like that's literally how the mind works. So, you know, have your body lead who you want to be, how you want to, you know, how the person you want to become, and then your mind will start to figure out, okay, well, I guess that's who we are now. So have the mind lead, and then the body will have the body lead, and then the mind will follow. As your experience increases, your skills will increase, and therefore your fake confidence actually turns into real confidence. So as you're faking it, as you're doing stuff for the first time, you don't have that much experience yet, but now you're doing it, right? So you're doing it, you're getting more clients, you're getting more performance reps in, you start getting better, and then you're like, I'm pretty good now. So now that fake confidence turns into real confidence that is backed by your tangible skills and experience. And that's pretty much like the last point is the same thing. And the difference with the last point is that, you know, when others acknowledge your skills and affirm it to you, the feedback loop of confidence is complete. So, you know, you first say, I'm awesome. And then, you know, other people see that you're being awesome. So they say, hey, Karl, you're awesome. And then I go, you're right. And then like the feedback loop kind of feeds itself, and now you are awesome. All right. So you guys, I've been talking a lot. So you guys have any, perspectives on this?
One thing I might add is, I've seen some messages come through recently this past week or so. We're in the middle of audition season, and this theme is recurring every year that we have auditions, which is like, oh, hey, Huei, I don't feel quite ready to attend the audition. I'm curious about it. Should I go? And I feel like a lot of times students might miss out on that audition experience because they lack that confidence. And one of the points you mentioned, Carl, was just, if they faked the confidence, they just experience be around it than to, because of their lack of confidence, not even go ahead and experience that event. So I think that's maybe one practical application of where faking it would actually give you that chance of letting your skills catch up to where your confidence is.
Yes, absolutely.
What about you, Eric?
Yeah, I agree. I mean, drum corps auditions, I was cut the first time I tried out for a drum corps. I was like so scared, unprepared at the time and super young, but without going and getting that experience, nothing that followed it would have happened. The phrase, fake it till you make it. I've also heard like fake it till you become it, like that. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's not like, arriving somewhere all the time. It can also be like, like an internal change.
Yeah. Carl, I also like how you said that your physical can lead with your physical, and that can help you with the mental.
Yeah.
When I was teaching a lot of drum lines, I used to tell them, our motto was to look strong, feel confident, and play clean. And that look strong piece is what you're kind of alluding to, which is, if you look like you know what you're doing, if you stand straight, you have that presence, that'll lead to potentially having you feel more confident as you're performing. And then ultimately, you got to play clean, right? So look strong, feel confident, play clean.
Yeah, there's that practical aspect too as well, which we'll definitely get into. Like it has to actually also be backed by actual tangible skills. So, and then this I guess this is a slide I missed, but as you fake your confidence, behold this amazingly designed, awesome feedback loop of confidence. So, this is something I just put together. It's like where my graphic design skills are at, or where they're at. So this is what it turned into. But I'm very confident about it because, that's, again, like that's the feeling that I want, which is that, like whatever I create is awesome. Wherever I am in the process is awesome. And then as you can see here, so it's just like, the loop is not complete without the other part, right? So you have to believe you are awesome. And then when other people see that you're awesome, they think you're awesome. And then that feeds itself, right? So
how do you balance, Carl, like feeling confident and maybe coming across as being cocky? Because that's a fine line that can be a turnoff for other people if you come across as too confident. How would you tell a student to not come across as being cocky as they approach the feeling confident?
Self-awareness. Self-awareness is where you draw the line. It's like, you're in love with yourself. You're in love with your skills. Everything about you is awesome. However, you gotta be real. Like, acknowledge when you suck at something. Acknowledge when things, can improve. Be humble to take in criticism from other people. That's where, confidence, the line between confidence and cocky, can be separated. Because confidence is just like, you're awesome no matter what anybody says, you have no flaws whatsoever. That is being cocky. You don't want to be that. You want to, be self-aware, know that you have things that you can improve on. But, wherever you are right now in the process, mistakes and all, imperfections and all, you're still awesome. So,
cool.
Moving on. Okay, so faking confidence is great, but how do I actually build actual confidence? Don't worry, I got you. So the following, all right,
I gotta stop and say, Carl, you're bringing more personality to your presentation than I think either way.
Eric, I'll point out two things. One, We are starting at a later time than usual, so Carl has had a chance to fire up here. And two, this is definitely Carl's area of domain expertise. So
I don't know, and just like I don't know if it comes across on the screen, but like it's not that I'm nervous. I'm really anxious. Like I'm just kind of excited to kind of like pump this out and I'm like having so much fun just being in this moment and just here we go, brain dump, bam! Like I don't know, it's so fun for me. So.
Sorry to interrupt.
Yeah, no worries. Please interrupt at any time. But yeah, so the following is going to be some tips and strategies. But like don't try not to look at it as strategies or tactics to increase your confidence. Rather think of it as mindsets that you need to have in order to build and maintain your confidence. All right. Confidence is dressing up as Princess walking around in the streets of Tokyo. Like that, I mean, I don't even need the words. I can just have this picture. I didn't type all the stuff out. It kind of like, just spelled it out all right there. And, I just for context, I mean, this is for a Mario Kart.
What are we looking at here, Carl?
Yeah, I'm trying to give context. Hold on. So there's a Mario Kart themed like go-kart thing where you can drive around in Tokyo. So like, Mario Kart, right? So you have Super Mario characters you can dress up for. And I just decided I wanted to be Princess Peach. Not necessarily because like she's necessarily like my favorite character or anything like that. I don't know. Like for me, I wanted the attention. And I wanted to test my confidence. Like, am I confident enough in myself that I can wear a pink dress out in public and walk around like and own it and be like, yeah, that's right, I'm Princess Peach. Bow down, I'm the princess. So like that's really kind of encapsulates like the whole confidence thing, which is number one, being completely comfortable in your own skin and in your current ability. Be prepared and doing the best you can to execute at a high level. I had to be prepared to have this mentality, like, yeah, I'm gonna wear this, I'm gonna own it, right? And then number three, not being attached to desired reaction or outcome from your audience. So some people make fun of me, cool. Some people are like, yeah, you're Princess Peach, cool. Like no matter what, I was down with it, right? And that's when you go into audition. It's like, if the staff likes me, great. If they don't, if they cut me, great. Like, either way, it's a good thing. Like if you get cut, you're going to learn, you're going to do better next time. So it's no matter what, there's a really positive thing that you can take from the experience. And we're going to deep dive into all of these 4 topics. And number 4 is having the courage to face your fears and your insecurities. And I think this picture sums it up. Like, I definitely could have been afraid. I definitely could have been non-courageous, but, I just felt like it was an exercise in courage. So yeah, anything to add?
I think the picture says it all.
Exactly, right? Yeah, you're speechless. You're literally speechless. I totally get you. All right, so let's deep dive here. So the first quote I have is, you gotta dance like there's nobody watching. And I think that sums it up. So confidence is being completely comfortable in your own skin and your current abilities. So you wanna enjoy what you're doing and don't necessarily play to an audience or to any judges. Sometimes it's okay just to play for yourself and your own enjoyment. That's going to take out that that feeling of, oh, I gotta impress these people, I gotta impress these judges, I gotta impress the staff when I go to auditions. Just play to have fun and play to your own enjoyment. Enjoy the feeling of hitting the notes and playing clean, playing in time, getting the right interpretation, nailing that flange drag. I mean, there's so many feelings you can have by doing that, and you want to manifest that feeling of like, yeah, this is, I love doing what I'm doing. This is great. And enjoying the music that you're making, right? You want to also resist the urge to compare yourself to others. Be proud of where you are, no matter where you are in the process. So, you go into audition, I talk about this all the time, where like you can get into that mindset of like, oh, that person is better, or that person is better, or even just, oh, I can definitely beat that person out and stuff like that. It's really just better just kind of put your blinders on and, kind of think like a racehorse, where it's like, you can't be distracted by the other horses. You just you just focus on the track. You focus on just going forward as fast as you can. That's really one of the best things you can do to not be distracted and have your confidence be shaken because somebody else is affecting it or somebody's skill set is affecting it. Just be focused on your process and, where you are, and where your skills are at in the process. And then, of course, yes, you want to execute at the highest level possible. Definitely make notes of mistakes that you make so you can correct them later in practice. But don't get down on yourself when you make a mistake. Move on, execute the next phase to the best of your ability, and that's it. Like, it's so easy to kind of like, have a performance or have an audition where like, you drop a note here and there. You crush a diddle here and there, and you hear it and you're like, damn, that sucked. It's really easy to fall in that trap of like, oh no, like, the audience is not going to like it, or the judge is going to, tick me for it and stuff like that. And then now you go into a feedback loop of that we're kind of down, it kind of spirals downward where you're like, it affects your playing now because you're so focused on, how much you suck. And then like, it affects everything else. Or you can just kind of think, all right, I made a mistake. I noted it. Cool, move on, make the next thing great. And that's really the best thing you can do to maintain your confidence, which is, yeah, I made mistakes. It's all good. The next thing, I'm going to nail it. So anything you guys would like to add?
The like horse blinder focus on the track thing, that really resonated with me. I like that.
Awesome.
I think every, group audition setting I've ever been to, my initial reaction when I walk into the room is like, wow, everybody is so good. I mean, there's always going to be a room full of people who are just, rocking. Like, off the top of my head, I remember going to my first all-region audition, and you walk in and everyone is playing the music like way faster than you practiced it, and they're like warming up, but really they're showing off to each other. And I just remember like having to breathe and remember what my lesson teacher was like, don't change what you're doing just because you see someone else playing faster or doing something different. Like, just stick to the plan, execute what you've been preparing. And also, like, personal note, the confidence bit was something that I admittedly struggled with when even was marching drum corps. Like, I marched a whole summer, and then my first year in Cavaliers, like the first half of the season, there's a little bit of that imposter syndrome. Like, even though you're wearing the uniform, you're like, oh man, like everyone is so good. Am I supposed to be here? And I remember there was something that Mike McIntosh did for me. We were running the closer of something and we're coming down, and I think he knew that I was like working on this because I was still a relatively young player. And he did something where, as we were coming down and crabbing across the field and playing some stupid hard lick, I remember him like pointing at me, and he was talking to one of the other techs. But now in hindsight, I get the feeling he was talking loud enough so that I could hear what he was saying, even though I was playing. And I remember him pointing at me like, man, look at Huei, he looks like such a badass, and I was going across, I'm playing. And after that, I was like, yeah, I am a badass, And so as a teacher, he kind of like threw me a bone and instilled some of that confidence into me, or at least maybe made me take a second to recognize like what I was doing well so that I could let some of that confidence come to fruition. So,
yeah, that's where that feedback loop comes in, right? Other people are acknowledging your confidence, and you're like, oh yeah, like I am badass, right? Absolutely. Okay, let's see. Next thing, how are we with your connections? You guys good?
Yeah, Huei, I was going to check how you're doing on battery because your latency was pretty bad.
Oh, I have 30% over here, so I've turned down the brightness of my screen. I'm working remote, so I'm not.
Good idea. Because I'm on 8% right now.
Okay. I think we're doing good. I think we're okay on time. This is we got 3 more slides to go. So we're almost there. Try to go through this fast. He who plans to fail is planning to fail. Winston Churchill. Confidence is being prepared and doing the best you can to execute at a high level. So obviously you want to practice as much as possible in order to execute at the highest levels. Do everything humanly possible to practice so that it is impossible for you to make a mistake. I mean, obviously it's, not possible for you to be absolutely flawless and not make any mistakes, but you want to practice as if you want it to be impossible for you to make an error. I try to tell my students, like, if you play 10 flams in a row, like for me at my level, it's practically impossible for me to pop a flam if I do 10 flams in a row. That's where my skill level is at. So you want to kind of go for that kind of mentality where it's like, it's impossible for you to make a mistake. It's impossible for you to get off step. It's impossible for you to, miss the sticks out, whatever, right? So little things like that where you can be absolutely perfect on. This will give you the confidence to execute at the highest level, knowing, right, that you won't be making any errors. So, that's the confidence that builds onto itself, because you have that self-fulfilling prophecy where you just know that, well, I'm not gonna make a mistake right now. Right. And then, you get scared because you're thinking, oh, I'm going to mess up right here, or this part, like, I'm not very confident here. I didn't practice this part that much. Like, all that feeds into it. So obviously you want to practice, you want to prepare, you want to work on the stuff that you don't have down as well. When you practice and prepare at a high level, have faith and confidence in your practice and preparation. So once all that's done, I have, students who, we're preparing as much as we can for the auditions, learning the packet, cleaning up the packet as much as we can. And then, and I know that they practice a lot. I know that they're putting in the time. When it comes down to audition, I just tell them, like, have faith in your preparation, have faith in your practice. You're probably still going to be nervous, but, as long as you have, that faith in, the work that you put in, you'll be fine. Right. And then be ready for things to not go as planned. I mean, stuff can happen. So prepare to adapt, prepare to pivot and adjust as necessary in the moment. And like, as we all know, when we perform, anything can happen. I mean, maybe the hash marks are off on the field. Maybe the drum major gets sick, and I don't know, anything can happen, right? A streaker can come across the field. I don't know, right? You want to prepare, right, mentally, that anything can happen, and then you're just gonna adjust. You're gonna fix it. Drop sticked, drop drums. These things happen. You've seen it in performances where performers, like, some mechanical function happens, a malfunction happens, and then they still have to adjust. They still have to perform. And then that's, that will help your confidence, knowing that, I can adapt and I can be ready to adjust in the moment if anything should happen. Is there anything you guys want to add to that?
I'd say that part of our natural workflow process as musicians and artists is you're always being critical of things, and that's how you get better, right? And my takeaway from this slide is not to forget to take part in that affirmation piece. You're saying here that have faith and confidence in practice and preparation. So you're listing off all the things that didn't happen, like, oh, I didn't do this, or I should have done that, or I could have also done this. But take a moment to also tell yourself, like, hey, you did this really well. And, it's like, what is that mental game of tennis? What is it? I'm blanking. Was it the mental game of tennis? Is that what it's called?
The inner game of tennis.
Inner game of tennis. Thanks, Eric. Having a senior moment here. I remember there was one part about that where it said, like, hey, when you do something well, take a moment to, like, give yourself a fist pump. And that's that physical leading to the mental bit also, right? So things that are going well, take a moment to acknowledge those. And if you feel those nerves start to creep in, take a moment to say some, affirmations or acknowledge the things that you have done well, so that you can get your mindset back on the track of being confident and not anxious or nervous.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I see. Mentioning, practice, mentioning execution, and Wei just talked about mindset. But I think whatever you can do to kind of, in your mindset, minimize the difference between what is practice and what is, like, execution. Like, your mindset should ideally be the same between both environments.
Absolutely. Yep. Okay, let's see. Next slide. Okay. I love this quote. Confidence is not they will like me. Confidence instead is I'll be fine if they don't. So confidence is not being attached to desired reaction or outcome from your audience. Some people are nervous before a performance because they care so much about the reaction of the audience or the judges. Of course, right? You go into audition. Of course you want the spot. Of course you want to, go into competition and get first place. Of course you want to, achieve a lot when you do something, right? But sometimes you gotta just not worry about that. You gotta just focus on your process, focus on, things that you did to get you to that point, and just focus on the beats. Focus on, executing at that high level, like we said. and everything will take care of itself. Like, you know, it's kind of funny when you stop thinking about that stuff. That's when people are like, yeah, that was great, that was awesome, or you get the spot on the line, or you get first place. Like when you think like that, that's when things start to happen for you, rather than just always chasing the outcome, or, you know, the results that you want. Of course, we want it. That's why we're here in some respects. But sometimes we need to take ourselves out of that, you know, outcome mentality, outcome mindset, right? Outcome dependence, whatever, right? And then you just got to look at it as, if the audience or the judges don't, you know, like my performance and execution, then great. If the audience or judges don't like my performance and execution, great. And we've talked about this, you know, previously, where it's like, you know, if you don't get the spot, that's okay. Like, you're going to learn from the experience. You're going to learn from the feedback that you get. You're going to go back to the shed, go back to the drawing board, work again. And next year, you're going to be even better. So either way, it's good, right? If it's your age out year, you don't make the spot, it's all good. Like, you know, drum corps isn't everything after 21. Like, you can go into all kinds of awesome stuff after, you know, like drum corps and in the marching arts. So don't think like, you know, oh, this is it, this is the end, like I gotta have this outcome. You know, again, like I said, in some respects, that's what we're going for. I get it, but also look at the bigger picture as well. And then remember, sometimes it's okay to play for yourself and not for others, which we've mentioned before. Anything you guys like to add?
No, I'm good. I'm down to like 5% battery.
Eric's like,
We're
no.
almost there. We're almost there. One more slide, 2 more slides.
I will say recently I've heard it was like an interview with Oprah and LeBron, and Oprah asked LeBron, like, when have things gone weird for you? And he's like, it's when I forget that I should be playing the game for myself and I'm playing it for other people. So that last quote of it, like, it's okay to play for yourself, he's basically saying he plays his best when he's playing for himself and maybe like for his team as a result. So, you know, remember, keep your eyes on the prize.
I mean, it's like when basketball players, you know, shoot a high percentage in practice, right? It's like, you know, there's no pressure. It's all process. It's literally just all process. But then in the game situation, it's like, oh, there's so much other stuff going on. You got to win the game. You got to please the crowd. Like, there's so much, you know, stuff going on. But sometimes you just got to think, like, I'm still in the practice room. Like, you know, when Kobe makes, you know, a game-winning shot, it's because he's done that shot in practice like 10,000 times. I mean, you know, so it's like, you know, it's like going back into that practice mode. So there's that line of performance and practice where it's like they're both kind of connected, and you want to not disassociate one from the other.
All right, Carl, I'm going to give you your TED Talk timer here. Imagine the counters count, because we're realizing that if Eric's computer dies, then this stream is over. Eric is hosting this call, so.
All right, last slide. Courage is not the absence of fear; it is acting in spite of it. I love that mentality. Confidence is having the courage to face your fears and your insecurities. So no matter you practice and prepare, you'll still be nervous. Embrace that reality, because what you resist will persist. So if you always say, like, hey, like, you know, I'm nervous, you're just going to be nervous. So just one thing you can do is you can misinterpret that feeling for excitement. It's similar physiology, right? It's like the heart rate's going, like you're sweating, nervousness and excitement, same thing, right? So why not choose to interpret it as, oh, I'm not nervous right now, I'm actually excited, right? And that's how I interpret my feelings when I do this presentation. Is that, you know, I'm excited to give out all this information and just kind of present it in the Karl Arrieta way. And then if you're still scared and nervous, the correct course of action is to always take action. So many times, you know, like we just think, you know what, I'm not going to do this right now because I just don't think I'm good enough. I don't think, like, you know, I'm experienced enough. You know, I'm going to turn that client down because I'm not ready, right? It's like, or I'm not going to go to auditions because I'm not ready. How many times do we tell ourselves no because, you know, we're scared, we're nervous, right? But the correct course of action is to always just step up and do it anyway. Always, always, always. You know, you want to, you know, talk to a stranger, like a friend, or, you know, get a girl, whatever. You're scared, nervous, still go for it. Like, that's one of the biggest piece of advice I can give, literally, is that everybody's gonna get scared, everybody gets nervous, but you always want to take action. We learn from it, we grow from it, no matter what. So last thing is I love this quote. Never forget who you are. The rest of the world will not. Wear it like armor, and it can never be used to hurt you. Tyrion Lannister from Game of Thrones. So I love that quote. It has so much significance and meaning for me. Tyrion Lannister is a little person. In the show, he's a dwarf, but he owns it. Like, I know I'm a dwarf, so people are like, "Hey, you're a dwarf. Like, you're a goblin, whatever, right?" And he's like, "Yeah, so I know that already." And it's like he wears it like he owns it. So it's like nobody can use that against him because he knows who he is. He knows what he is. And it's like yeah. So I think it's a very important concept when it comes to confidence. So whatever you are, whoever you are, wherever you are in the process, it's all good. Own it, know it, be self-aware, and then you're going to go into every situation of performance, auditions, in life. You're gonna approach that with confidence, and you're gonna be successful. That's
Awesome. Thanks, Carl. All right, for everyone who's watching this stream right now, take action. Take a piece of advice that Carl's given you today and put it into action. Think of something that maybe you've been on the fence about, being confident about, and take action on it. That's kind of my big takeaway from Carl's session today. If you have any questions about anything that Carl has mentioned in this session, do us a favor and leave us a comment down below in the description or the comment section. If you have additional topics that you would like to see us talk about, also leave those down below in the comment section. Thanks for watching. Really appreciate you guys spending your time with us. We know that watching your video, there's a plethora of videos that you could be spending your time on, so we appreciate you spending it with us. Make sure you like, subscribe, share this out with a friend, and we'll see you guys in the next video, okay? All right, thanks so much, guys. We'll see you later.